Hello, MNDers. Chris here to let you in on how to get a free audiobook and a 30-day free trial from Audible. Because you're a listener of this podcast, all you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/MND podcast. Once you're there, you can choose from over 180,000 titles, including the latest additions to my library. So I have Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson, Vagabonding by Rolf Potts, and Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. So to download your free audiobook, go to audibletrial.com/MND podcast. If you do, you'll be glad you did. Now, cue the intro music. Four wives. Married, not dead. So here's the thought. The thought was, look, check this out, guys. We have watched each other chase girls, chase dreams, get married, start families, right? And now we're at the beginning stages of watching each other grow older. We're in it, so we don't think about it. But yeah, this is it. This moment right here is the moment where we have probably officially transitioned into the next phase of all of our lives collectively. And I know that tonight, later, we got some business to take care of, and we're going to talk about health. And that had me thinking too about how health has always been a priority for us. But now it's addressed in the context of, anti-aging, examples to our children, and then shared goals with our wives, which we're going to talk about later. But it's always been important, I think, to all of us. For me, it was about looking good in my clothes at one point, or looking good for the opposite sex, or having muscles, or, all these things. And now the reason I can kind of say, wow, I've really grown up with these guys is because now I was, sort of thinking about this health topic and how when I was taking my notes for it, I'm writing these notes and I'm thinking, wow, these would not be the notes I would have taken when I met these guys initially. These notes are completely different. But, 20 years ago, the first thing I would have wrote down was, make sure you get in a party pump. before you
get them push-ups in.
Yeah. Go do a quick set of 15 or 20 before you go into the party.
That's right.
Okay, I'm glad you defined that for me. That worried me for a moment.
Oh, you guys don't know what a party pump is?
No.
I don't know if I want to.
Now they do.
Spend a lot of time in the bathroom.
I was like, now they do. It's them push-ups.
Party pump means something completely different to Jason and Brian.
Sure is.
It's similar to something about Mary.
Don't pass out.
Right.
Party pump is something about Mary to some, and then to others, the initiated. Yeah, it just means you get in a quick set, and because of just the biology of it, basically the blood's going to rush to your skin, and you're going to look swole, more swole than you actually are. That's what that's all about. So yeah, I was thinking about that today, and I took that. And I started thinking about how we have changed. And I thought, how cool would it be just to quickly sort of go around to each of us and name one or two things at most, so really quick, that have changed the most about each of us since we've known each other. Because we've kind of grown up together, haven't we? So I can get this party started and say that when I met Nick, he was as skinny as a rail. Completely different guy. You wouldn't recognize Nick today versus when I met him in his. When did I meet? How old were you, Nick, when I met you?
I'm going to say 18 or 19.
Unbelievable. You were a child. You were a child. You were a man-child.
Yeah, I was man-child.
Yeah, so
Nonetheless.
you wore glasses and you were skinny, and then you had a transformation. What age would you say that you got? What was that? What year was Summer of Swole for you? Where you left for a summer, I think, to Sacramento, and then you came back looking like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, that was my junior year. That was crazy. There was just nothing but food, fun.
Was that the first time you had food?
Tons of creatine and water, and yeah, man, it was excellent. I put 17 pounds on in like a month and a half.
Unbelievable.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, man, that was a summer of swole right there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and so once you got swole, did you realize you needed to drop the glasses and go with the contacts after that?
Yeah, it was all.
Or was it like far after that? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was all part of the transformation, man. Went out to Cali, got swole, got rid of the glasses, got the contacts. Shoot, bought a new wardrobe. You know, when you met me, man, I was like, you know, deep into the blacks, the navy blues, the browns. It was like earth tone. That was me right there.
At first, I wasn't following you. At first, I wasn't following you on the color scheme. I thought you were saying something else.
I was into the blacks then, you know, and everything changed. No, I was definitely into the earth tone gear. And then, actually, it was funny, man. I was in Cali and I was like, dude, I'm going to buy a yellow shirt. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That was big for me. I'm going to buy a yellow shirt. Like, this is going to be my first yellow shirt. I'm going to have a yellow shirt.
That's a big move for any man.
Oh, yeah, man. I bought a yellow shirt. Mm-hmm. And, but yeah, it was definitely the summer swole, came back 17 pounds heavier, no glasses. And yeah, some of, you know, whom I would call some of my closest friends didn't even recognize me when I rolled in. So,
man, I was shocked. I was shocked. Yeah, I was impressed, though. I was impressed. It was a paradigm shift for you. So, who wants to go next? I will go with Brian on this one. Brian, pick any of us. What would you say is the thing that jumps out to you that's changed about any of us over the time you've known us?
Sure. I would say I wouldn't say what's changed, because I'll say what I didn't know about somebody that over this time that I've gotten to really respect.
Oh, that's great.
Is that fair?
Yeah. Let's do anything, not just physical attributes. Yeah. I didn't mean to put it in a box.
So I would say that Jason has a passion in him that I didn't recognize at first when I first met him, that he has for his, particularly for his wife, and really just about anything that he really is passionate. You know, he really just, what makes him his core, mm-hmm. You know, he's just super passionate about it, and it's infectious, if you will, mm-hmm. and definitely, I definitely say that it's really the how it shines the brightest is how he talks about his wife and his children.
For me, that's weird, because the moment I met him, he was in my face. You know what I mean? But I totally get it. I get it completely. Within 5 minutes of us meeting, we're in an all-out argument over rock bands and their significance. So I was like, God, this fucking guy is intense. You know, that was what, you know, drew me to him as well. So that's funny that you pulled that thing out, because that's what made me realize, you know, he's different. You know, he actually cares about something. So I'm totally with you on that.
And lets you know it.
It does, and lets you know it. Yeah. Before Jason and I could be really good friends, we had to threaten each other with fisticuffs many times. It's the path for two very, very strong personalities to come together.
So maybe we're just saying the whiskey is starting to wear off, mm-hmm. Yeah, opening up more.
There's always a plateau point. Jason, what do you got? What do you think?
Boys. Well, you were kind of chubby when I met you. Yeah, but we were
freshman 15.
Yeah, and I wasn't chubby, but I wasn't healthy. We were both unhealthy, drinking our French vanilla coffee.
Oh man, I forgot about that. We were fucking up, man. We didn't know anything.
Oh yeah. Oh man. So like that, and I'd wash that down with a diet generic Dr. Pepper, and stand outside and have 3 cigarettes at a time.
Dr. K.
Yeah, Dr. K.
Diet Dr. K.
Diet Dr. K, man. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And that just drastic changes. I mean, it took a while, probably me longer, because it was another couple of years before I'd meet Betsy and kind of have a revelation of life and turn things around. But yeah, it was just bad fuel shit, Taco Bell, cigarettes and booze. Yeah, that's
bad
crazy.
Fuel shit. That's a great way to describe our diet back then. And I'm still impressed with your ability to drop cigarettes after all. Cigarettes, the way you smoked them, to me, they were part of who you were.
They were totally part of who I was. It was I don't know how to say that.
Dang, he just really breathed corny. In like he was smoking a cigarette just now.
Yeah.
Dang.
It was part of it. It was part of my action. It was,
Yeah, I didn't know how you would just the social motion of bringing your arm to your mouth. It was you did it with a lot of ease and a lot of grace. If I can compliment a really bad habit, it didn't.
That's all right, thank you.
I couldn't think. It was amazing to see you just stop.
Yeah. If it was 1962, that would have been a fantastic.
Yeah, buddy, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
It, man. This motherfucker can smoke.
Look at that motherfucker go. Oh, man.
He's on pack number 2. Yeah, and I was. So, yeah, I gave it all up and replaced that with a healthier, boring and mundane things, but life has been better since. But yeah, profound changes for all of us. It's crazy, and just, I mean, I guess it's been a decade since I'm talking about that stuff, but it seems much shorter.
Right. Yeah, and you probably gave yourself a decade back by making that choice. So, kudos to you, Nick. My man, what do you got?
All right, I'm going to actually flip the script a little bit on this one and say that I've seen significant changes in myself as a result of these conversations that we've had via GroupMe, that have grown into Slack, that has grown into this podcast. It's crazy. Because of the fact that, earlier you asked the question about who do you call when something comes up. And
like, who's your Ghostbuster call?
Yeah, right. And me, I internalize and have internalized for a long time a lot of this stuff. But having these conversations with you cats, I've started to open that conversation up to others and see the value in it. So basically saying that I know that for the longest time I tried to treat myself like Superman. Impenetrable. There's nothing that can hurt me, and nobody has no damn kryptonite, so I'm golden. But the whole idea in my head was, when you open yourself up to weakness, then people can take advantage. Right. That was basically like the first thing in my head. So I'd always protect that and make it look like I had no weaknesses. But then again, through these conversations and you guys opening up, and the fact that we can help each other has shown me something different. Has caused me to be different, and has helped me to understand that showing your weaknesses just enables, empowers, and someone else to heal you. So that's the biggest thing for me in the past. I mean, it's like 20 years since I met you, dude. But we've probably been on the fellas texting. I mean, has it been like 10 years? I mean, it's been a long time. We've been texting and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a huge change for me, and that has cascaded into, other relationships that I have with folks, just being more open, because when you're open and other people are, then now you get a chance to help them. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's I would mirror that precisely. And that's kind of why I was on the toilet today, taking a massive shit, just thinking about each of you so
Thanks,
tenderly.
buddy.
And no, it wasn't.
Cheers.
It wasn't.
Cheers, man.
It wasn't during a shit session. But for all transparency, look, the magical thing about this is we were a larger group, so those people will go unnamed. But I think there's a reason the four of us filtered out and stuck together, and we all have
Shared goals.
Yeah, we all share. Look at you, exactly. shared goals, similar lives, similar situations, similar desires, dreams, and that's the magical part of it, because you really can't understand what's happening in your life until some time passes and you get a moment to reflect on what you're actually building together, what you're actually doing, and what you actually accomplished, all through what Nick just said, which is sort of letting down your guard a little bit and letting other people in. It's so much more rewarding than the opposite. And I know we're going to talk about some shared goals and focus a little bit on the health side, or the physical health side, but on the mental and emotional health side, that's critical too. And I hope we get a chance to talk about that a little bit. So I think with that, I wanted to open up the floor to start this week's topic, which is health, shared goals, how health goals can create, or how you can create a shared goal around health to bring you closer to your spouse. And I think we're going to start this thing off with Brian tonight.
Sure. So I've never been a big dieter. I grew up pretty skinny. I grew up with a good metabolism.
Lucky you.
Yeah. And it wasn't until, I guess, the birth of my youngest, second youngest, when I got married with my wife, we had Logan. And after that, the more pressure and everything, I started eating more and just got really out of weight and kind of matched what she had, was kind of doing physically as well, and kind of her, how she was eating and coping with, issues with dealing with, a difficult childbirth and things like that, and postpartum depression and all those heavy topics, right? And we both were kind of in this rut. And we, both got, I got up to, 30, 40 pounds overweight.
Is that right?
And, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And she did as well. So, there's a lot of things that came from that. We were masking a lot of our issues as a couple with the foods that we were eating, and the comforts that we were taking in those. As comfort food, I've never, ever been a food comfort eater, things like that. And then
asparagus casserole.
Oh,
Yummy.
Officially derailed. I can't do this anymore. I'm out of here. No, I'm just kidding. So, it built up to, I'd say about 6 months ago, we both just looked at ourselves and said, we're not happy, and what's going to change that? And we were searching for something. And we would try to do some dieting before and had some moderate success, and but we did it separately. And at separate times, like she was dieting and exercising, and then I cut out, and then I wasn't, and then she was, and I wasn't, so we weren't in lockstep. And so, I would be eating something bad, but she was eating good, so she resented me for eating something bad, and it just caused a lot of conflicts in the marriage, to be honest.
Right. How's that broccoli taste over there, honey? As you shove a donut in your mouth.
Yes. You want some extra cheese?
Right.
So long story short, about 6 months ago, we decided that we were going to go on this vacation with you, Chris, for your 40th. And with that, I said, we both sat down and we said, okay, we're going to go on this vacation. But if we're going to go on this vacation, let's get ourselves right health-wise, and this will be our reward for getting our diet and health back in order. And so with that, we had a shared goal, and we both attacked it together. Now, we both kind of have our own methods to the diet. Like, she's doing this Beachbody thing.
What is the Beachbody thing?
The Beachbody is a set of workouts that you can perform, which she's actually, since she's had some spine issues with her back, which is a side effect of her actually getting healthy. Now her body is screaming at her, saying, "Hey, this is wrong." When she starts actually, like, she's dropped. So, full disclosure, she's dropped like 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Like she has transformed her body,
great,
and she looks amazing, and she radiates. She's much happier. But in that, she started Beachbody, and that's a group of workouts, and it's also a dieting system where you work on portion control, and she's using a lot of what she's learned when we did the Whole30, which is where you pretty much eat twigs and berries for 30 days.
And will we be able to have like links to all this stuff, Brian?
Yeah, all this stuff will be. Yeah, I can give those things in the show notes. I mean, we could have an entire conversation on what the Beachbody is and the Whole30, but I don't think that's. I mean, ultimately, what we want to talk about is joining together as a common goal,
exactly.
And as a couple, and through diet and exercise, growing closer as a couple. For us, and thank you for getting me back on track, because I was starting to go down that little rabbit hole. I appreciate that. Some of the things that we've accomplished, other than the easy result, the result that you can see is the scale, is the physical transformation. You can see that. You can look and you say, man, she looks amazing. She's lost 40. Mm-hmm. Man, he looks amazing. I've lost like almost 30. Okay. But what you don't see is the improved communication that we've had through this, because now we have something we're talking about every day. We're tackling, meal prep Sundays, where we work on Sunday, and some days I take, she's not wanting to do it, I'll take it up, and I know what she wants to eat that week. I'll go ahead and start making sausages and, putting in her, portioning them out for her and things like that.
So that makes let me jump in real quick, because that made me, a question just pop right into my brain. Does that mean you shop together if you're prepping together?
We don't necessarily shop together.
Okay.
But, we kind of do, because we take advantage of this click list Kroger's does, which is where you pay $5.
Man, I've been wanting to do that.
And man, let me tell you real quick, and this actually helps with portion control and impulse buying, definitely. Click list is $5. You get online and you order, and you literally, have a picture, and you click everything you want, and then you send it to them, and then they give you a time, and you go pick it up. Okay. Mm-hmm. What that takes away is you don't have to go down the cookie aisle. You don't have to, when you don't pick sodas, which I don't drink sodas, but you know what I mean? Like all the bad choices that you would make.
Stuff is out the window.
Yeah. All the impulse, all the marketing, all the bullshit that they try to force feed you. It's the equivalent of the DVR. You know, the DVR, you record a show and you fast forward right through the commercials.
Right.
You just get exactly what you want. That is what the click list is. So for the $5 fee, it's extremely convenient. It's also a time management thing, because you can literally pull up, they go get your food, they bring it out, they load it in your car, They tell you anything, they sub anything they didn't have. You can work through everything right there. It's a 20-minute ordeal as opposed to how long does it take to go through the grocery store?
Yeah, it can take, if you have your kids with you, you just bring a tent.
Yeah, you just bring a tent.
Just bring a tent and a
take an
sleeping
hour
bag.
plus.
You're going to be there.
Especially little ones that want to go bathroom every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So anyway, back
every
on
spanking
subject,
memory I have as a kid started at the grocery store.
I told you no, boy. Put that down.
Exactly.
And your memories as an adult.
Just shudder right now. Nick sound like my mom there. Oh my God.
And it holds us, I think the number one thing it's really helped us with is it helps to hold each other. We are able to hold each other accountable, like we went to the birthday party for your daughter, Lyndon, and my wife was making some bad choices, and I was just like, you're not making the right choice. She's like, yeah, you're right. Okay, I won't have any more. So it's not like I'm controlling. It's that, hey, we're on this.
You didn't
say,
journey. Oh, you're having another one, fatty.
I was just going to go there.
No, she does the same to me. She does the same to me. If I'm making a bad choice, she'll mention to me, oh, that's not on the diet. And that sounds, cliche, but it's really not. It really helps.
It's motivational.
And kids' birthday parties are a test. They are the trap.
Sure.
All your favorite foods are there. Pizza, ice cream, cake, candies. You're going to find something, popcorn.
Calzones.
I saw you when you walked over where you told me like the strategy for you. Just look at the pizza and then you won't be appetized by the pizza.
Yeah. That's a lot of the times, like, how if pizza sits there for a while and then you go look at it and it no longer looks good, like fresh pizza.
Jesus, that top cools.
I'm not sure if anything's, I'm not sure if anything smells better, than fresh pizza.
Probably not.
It's hard to say no
looks. To. Yeah. And then, so, I let it sit there for a while, then I walk over like, nah. Nah.
And it looks weird socially because I saw Brian walk over. He just sort of sidled up to the pizza, opened the box, took a dirty look at it, closed the box, and walked away. So what'd you just do? He's like, oh, it's a strategy of mine. I just got to look at the pizza, be sickened by it.
He's like, man, I just mean mug that pizza. I'm a mean mug it. You ain't gonna get me today.
Exactly. Okay, so cool. So you don't necessarily shop together in the store, but I could see that Click List is a great tool for that shared goal because it does a lot, even more than I thought. Your DVR analogy was perfect, but it also in a way that you didn't mention, which is the DVR has a certain amount of space, and I could tell you that when I DVR a show, it better be great because I don't want to use up my disk space because eventually you run out if you record a bunch of bullshit shows. Same thing with that. You have to, you're kind of forced to pick the right things and only so much of those things because you have to drive and pick this stuff up. So in turn, it's just going to narrow. I would assume it saves you money too, but I'm not sure.
Oh, sure. No, it saves you money because you only buy the things that you know you need, and you're not in the store and you're like, man, how much broccoli do we have, or how much, you know what I mean? Like how many avocados do we have? You know it,
right?
Oh, I'll just go look. Okay, hey, babe, how many do we need? 2. Okay, mark 2. Yep. That's all you got to do. And we keep an ongoing list, and that's the linchpin of how we've been able to be successful in this is that we do shopping together. Back to your toilet thought. We do the shopping together, but it's online and it's through the week. Because, you can make a list and just, and we can both get into the account and add things to it, and then at the end you review it and there you go.
I frankly think the grocery stores have made so much passive income off of people just not knowing what they have in their house, not remembering what's in their refrigerator. And
exactly.
There's, for some reason, our wives have anxiety around that and they're just going to get another one. do we have this? I don't remember. I'm just going to get another. I can't tell you how many jars of peanut butter and jelly I have at this point.
Yeah, but then, that also feeds the waste.
That's a lot of sandwiches.
Yeah, it also feeds the waste, right? You got so much stuff that stuff starts going bad in the pantry, and you start throwing stuff out because you bought too much.
Or you're like Brian and I, where we grew up in this non-waste culture.
Right, you refuse to let it go, right?
You eat all of it.
Yeah.
And then it ends up contributing to your WAIST. Your waste.
Unfortunately,
very clever.
Unfortunately, it's slowly being adopted to all the different stores. So you see that like Walmart is doing it now. Actually,
you're scared to death of
Kroger's
Amazon.
does it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They have to. They have to be made to make it as convenient as possible. But my question would be, I don't see many like Jason. You kind of have you and your wife kind of have a more particular diet. I mean, is that? Do you see that being adopted in like Whole Foods or any places like that you would frequent?
Yeah, I suppose. We just went to there was a grand opening for Sprouts in Bellevue. You're older when a grocery store opens and you're like, hey, let's load up. We got something to do Saturday.
Opening.
Yeah, I mean, we did. And it was kind of sickening how pleased I was when I walked in there, the all natural soaps and conditioners and organic this and that. It's fantastic. It's a great store. But
hey, Jason, let me stop you really quick. I have a question for you. That just sparked a question. Yeah. Now you have a background in cosmetology a little bit, right? I had this thought for you today. Isn't shampoo bullshit? Like I've never had, despite what the commercials tell me, I've never had an orgasmic experience using one shampoo over the other. Can't you just buy the cheapest stuff?
No, but I have, I believe shampooed to orgasm before, but it didn't have anything to do with the product.
Or his hair. But anyway.
Oh no, it wasn't mine. It wasn't my orgasm, but it's not bullshit. It's really not. No, I mean, maybe
so you got to use good stuff.
Products you're buying in the store. Yeah, you do. It's not just but I'm not going to get into it, but it depends on the hair. I mean, some hair, the less you would abuse it, the less you have to take care of it. So, my father always had soft, nice hair, and he used Suave his whole life because all he did was a light Aquanet spray over that. That was,
So yeah, Suave, perfect.
So the more you beat your hair, the higher price you're going to have to pay to keep it alive, or it's technically dead, but to make it manageable, usable. So
well, you're my hero. I've been wanting to ask you that for a week. Thank you. All right, I sidetracked us. All right, let's go back to it.
As somebody to say that has no hair anymore, take care of your hair. If you can do something nice, do something nice. Don't be a fucking selfish prick. Do something for the rest of us. No, but so as far as these stores, yeah, maybe sometime, but they don't really have to right now because they're going to draw us in. The foods that are available, especially the organic selections. Eventually, hopefully one day the world will not have food won't be labeled organic. It'll just be labeled inorganic, and we won't have to worry about that, and it'll be the norm. So, but for now, the kind of diets, especially including a vegetarian-ish lifestyle, it draws you in more inconvenience, but. There's some unity in that.
Was that something that you two decided to do together?
No, and I've kind of backed off of it a little bit actually. So there's some unity in it, but it can when you don't have that unity or that agreed upon, that shared goal, it can really it can get in the way. Even if it's only mental, So I decided that I was going to stop, eating meat, but my wife did not. And though she was very good about eating as much vegetarian stuff or non-mammal things as possible with me, it was still a thing, and I've always felt, oh, I'm causing a problem. Mm. And I think to some degree I was. So
what do you mean? Can you elaborate on? Yeah,
just that I made life more difficult for her. I still do to some degree, but just that she had to craft what the family was eating around a choice that I had made that she was not ready to make. And that, I think even subconsciously, I think that caused it a problem. She said it wasn't, and she never treated me like it was, but I thought I could sense it at least.
And you think that's because you didn't come into the marriage with that philosophy?
That's right.
Because my wife's vegetarian, but she came into our relationship that way.
Right. I did not. I came in as a, pack and a half smoker who drank Mountain Dew and Diet Dr. K and, ate bad for you shit. So, that's all change. Yeah, that's right. that's all change. So, in that part I did by myself, and that can be tricky. So I've adjusted how I eat, to accommodate saying, hey, you guys eat for you. Let me, I'll take care of myself on this one. That is to say, I think it's important to know, we're focusing on shared goals, but simply the lack of a shared goal without any conscious significance can make an unconscious separation in a couple, in a family,
right,
and quite a bit of strife. You might not even know it's there because you're not.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not getting that, if you're not getting that okay from your partner that this is, hey, I've got this goal. That's a good point of how an individual goal can affect the marriage. Definitely.
Nick, you're a consummate problem solver. If you had that problem in your own marriage, hypothetically, how would you create solutions to bring a shared goal around diet and health?
I think it's trying to think about if we've had anything like that here, but it comes down to more education for the other person, as opposed to saying that this is who I am, just take it, or this is who I am, you all adjust, or anything like that. It's more like, this is who I am, let me explain why. So these are the choices that I'm making, right? So now they kind of hopefully have a better understanding of, why you're doing certain things, whether it's your diet, whether it's, your training habits. I think that, even I'll say with my wife, let me give you another example. So my older brother came over to the house. This is like maybe 2 years back. And his wife, he had been working out, and he likes going to like kickboxing gyms and stuff. And his wife was working out. She goes to a local gym, and she's sitting at the table, and we were talking about fitness. And he says, you know what? If I worked out as much as my wife does, and I still look the way that she does, I would shoot myself in the face.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah, you guys are like, oh crap, right? This is like, you can't believe someone would say this, especially not in front of her, right?
That's where you show yourself.
Yeah, right. It's like, yo, but she took it in stride because she knew where he was coming from. They had this discussion, and he said, no, don't take me wrong. You have to understand that she works out every day, if she can, twice a day, but she hasn't made the changes that she's seeking, and this has gone on for months. So he said, it's not about, looking like, her. I love her. I love, her and everything that she is. I'm saying for me, if I were in that situation and not making the changes that I wanted to make, I would shoot myself in the face. And what it came down to was education for her. So he was doing these kickboxing classes and he was doing, plyometric training and all this stuff. And he was seeing changes. So she just thought that he was doing that because he's an athlete or because he likes martial arts, right? That's just what he likes to do. So he's going to do that. Well, she does what she likes to do, right? She'll do a group fitness class or get on the elliptical, right? So that was the difference for her. But soon after that conversation, I think he took her to the gym where he worked out and introduced her to the trainers there, and they educated her. And basically what it came, she realized this isn't about a personal preference with a style of working out, like a style of dieting or style of eating. This comes down to an education. And what she didn't realize is that in order to see the gains that she needed, her intensity needed to go up, right? And that's what the kickboxing was. That's what the plyometric training was. It's a different level of intensity. Right, sweating isn't enough. It's like the difference between training and working, or training and exercising. Right, you can exercise by walking, but if you're looking to hit a goal, a very specific goal, you have to train for that goal. So she wasn't training for the goal; she was exercising. So once she started training, which required a different level of intensity, a different level of scrutiny of her own diet, she saw significant gains, and she's been ever happier since. So
Nick, I cannot tell you how many people get caught up because they do not understand the delineation between exercise and training.
Yeah, it's and it's funny, and I guess for some it's unfortunate for others. But yeah, I'll hear that. Yeah, I'm going to go work out. I'm doing this. Even my wife, I mean, she knows that she was guilty of it. I think when we met, we met in a gym, and she was doing the elliptical. She was doing the routine things that made her sweat, but she wasn't seeing the gains. And as soon as she started doing some of the routines that I built for her, she started to see that because the intensity increased. And I said, yeah, we're not exercising anymore. Right, we're not going through the motions, we're training. So you pick that specific goal and then you do all the things that are necessary to achieve it. So that's, the exercising, it's, the exercising or the training itself. You have the diet itself. You have the choices that you're making. And like Brian was saying, you're grocery shopping. Going to make the choices that, man, with these kids, they got parties all the time. So there's always something going on, right? There's always something in your face. And Brian, he made that choice, right? I'm going to look at that pizza and I'm going to tell it no, you got to do that. And that's what training is, right? That's that you're all in. And once you're all in, you can make a significant difference.
I think it's really about educating. What I heard from that is that, she was giving the effort, but she wasn't taking the time to research and educate herself on how she could best accomplish the goal. For me, I don't exercise or train as much as the next person. What I have that I do, but what I have more success with is just really regulating my diet. And what that says to me is I was just eating very poorly, but I've educated myself to know that at this point, I know that you guys have known for the last couple of years, I've had just severe allergies, to the point where I couldn't go to my son's baseball game because they were so bad.
Right.
Well, through changing my diet, I mean, I could go outside, do whatever. I'd be outside all day. I sit on my patio. It's, cutting out certain foods have really not only caused me to have a significant weight loss, but also just the health benefits.
What'd you cut out? What'd you cut out?
And I know that, and I'm not one of these people, but man, I cut out gluten, and
you are one of those people.
Life changing. I am one of those people.
It's all good.
It's not because you're like, oh, I got a gluten allergy. I'm like, I can't have that. It's got gluten in it. And I'm not that person. And that's, my wife tells me I have terrible impersonations.
That was spot on.
Anyway, so gluten and what?
So
what else
gluten and dairy.
Yeah.
I cut out the majority of dairy. I cut those two things out.
I knew what you were going to say.
And it's night and day.
Mm-hmm.
It's night and freaking day. Like what I'm able to do.
Body's not built for cow's milk.
It's really not. It's
not
amazing.
Evolutionary. Nope. Mm-mm.
And we're slowly working on changing out the milk in the house to like a nut milk.
Yeah, we're on that almond milk around here.
Yeah, I'll piggyback that as well. I have not had cow's milk or any type of animal milk in probably 5 years, and I had the same transformation. Now, gluten, I guess I'm straight with gluten.
You've had some cheese, though.
Yeah, I've definitely had cheese. I'm straight with gluten. Like, I will eat the fuck out of some gluten and just be fine in terms of my allergies, I think. But the transformation I had by reducing or eliminating dairy is unbelievable. Yeah. Like dairy, you just don't realize how bad it's fucking you up. It really does mess you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's a goal for the whole house for us to be completely done with dairy.
Good for you guys.
Some cheeses, but to me, I can't even really eat cheese now, and it tastes good anymore.
You have to have the right cheese too, Brian. Some cheeses you don't even taste on the food you're eating. So why even add it? It's just added fat and calories.
Right. Like cheese and allergies. Why do that? Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah. There are some cheeses that taste delicious, and they're like you can actually taste them. They complement the food you're eating, but most cheeses you don't even taste. To me, at least.
Right.
I'm having this vision of some poor dairy farmer listening to us in Wisconsin.
Sorry,
just
buddy.
like, shut up. And to me, and to him, I say, pivot, my friend. Time to pivot.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a tough. I mean, education is a big one, and that's a Nick. Was this your brother-in-law or your brother?
It's my brother.
That's your brother. Okay. Well, I'm glad for your brother that he's still married.
It's hilarious, dude, because I think they know each other like that. I think that's the way it worked out, and she knew the perspective.
That's good. That's good that when you can make those comments, because my wife would have just seen that as belittling and most likely slung something in my head, deservedly so. I would have caught that one. Yeah, sometimes it's about education. But I find education sometimes struggles, whatever we're talking about, with upbringing, with training, with religious response to how you eat and just what you've come to think of as necessary. Like I've talked to Chris about this, and it's something that she doesn't say anymore, probably because I kind of railed on it, but I would always hear my wife say something that she was taught to say was, life just isn't worth living without X.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? Like, whatever X needs to be.
Like meat.
Cheese or
cheeseburgers.
Meat, Sundays or
seeds,
whatever the case is,
He said X, and I was just thought we're doing word association. SEX.
Well, I was going to say, Jay, I'm with you. I'm with you because the meat thing was a big thing for me. For a long time. Yeah. Like my wife would get, like a vegetarian pizza. I'm like, what are you doing? This is a pizza.
Right. That's not pizza.
No, it's not. You're supposed to have meat. And you're supposed to have a lot of meat. If you can have different varieties of meat, then that is a pizza. But I've come to learn better over time. So, but yeah, I'm with you. I used to be in that same camp.
Yeah. Well, I used to drink, I will consume a soda here or there, but I had somebody at work, they'd all order a pizza, and of course they'd have to get a veggie pizza for me, and somebody would complain and be pissed about it. But but everybody make a comment, it's not pizza without meat, and I was like, wow, that is so ridiculous. Yeah. But then what was funny about that is one of those people that said that also made a comment about how Mr. Healthy grabs a soda when he has pizza, me,
right?
And I'm like, I just it's not the same without it. But then in that conversation, the meat and pizza got brought up. And I was like, you know what? I'm glad I had this conversation and listened to you make that ridiculous comment to say, my comment was ridiculous because pizza's still delicious. I don't have to have a Coke. I'm fine. I'm okay. I can do it without a Coke. I can have water and pizza. It really does work. So yeah, sometimes education, sometimes just being ready for it. But that what we're raised in with food and health and exercise and output, these make a big difference. That's why it's so important to not let these things be said to your children, or at least believed by your kids, or get them in the practice of doing these things on a regular basis.
So what is a shared? What's a shared goal do you guys have for at least your children, right? So if you guys aren't on the same page with, I hate to call it diet, but the way that you eat, then what's the shared goal you guys have around your kids to make it work?
So yeah, shared goals. We push for as much organic as possible. We push for as much vegetable as possible, which we struggle for greatly, especially with one of my children who just doesn't. They are not a good eater. But
You're trying to protect the innocent.
Yeah,
No, man, my son is the same way. Like I got to force feed him vegetables and even fruits, and it's just crazy to me. Like some of the sweetest fruits, like you go to your peach or your pear, and he gives me that scrunched up face like it's the nastiest thing in the world. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like one of the sweetest things you can eat. But so for him, it's a pain. For my daughter, who's almost 3, we can make her a salad and she'll eat a salad. It's like,
same here. The girl eats pretty much anything. And, the boy is just not, doesn't like it. So, but we struggle on the shared goals. It's not that we don't have the same, to a great degree, we have the same education. We've educated ourselves, over the years. That's why I thought when I went vegetarian, I was like, she's going to join me. We've consumed the same materials. We've listened to the same arguments. Mm-hmm. She's coming along. And she didn't. Our day-to-day eating habits differ too, and it's not really about education. It's just about maybe how much education matters, and also, I wasn't beat up to have good sweet foods. That wasn't good food. Didn't equate to a good life.
Right. And
for a lot of Americans, it does. I mean, if you don't have really good tasting food, you don't have a really good life. Mm-hmm. And I don't care what we say, even if we do come to love it, healthy food isn't what hits all the senses. It just doesn't. So it doesn't light up all your taste buds like the bad stuff does.
I will challenge you on that, because since I've cut out a lot of the bad foods, I don't have that. So I think a lot of the things that are cooked with the bad foods, the pastas, I just keep
Hattie B's hot chicken,
Hattie B's. Yeah, I mean, they all have. There are things that you can eat that are healthier. Some of the best meals I've had are these paleo diet, or instead of having pasta, have spaghetti squash, things like that. Squash. So good. So once you cut those things out, you start to not miss them anymore, and you find new tastes that are just as good. And it's not like me trying to say, this way of eating is better than that way, but to say that it extracts the taste because you've decided to eat healthier, I disagree.
No, I've gotten to where that's not what I meant to say. Okay. You're totally correct in that, and it does change. I'm just saying at the start, at the first point of it, it is lacking in that. And but look, I love healthy eating, and there's some things. It's astonishing how my taste buds have changed and altered, and what I find absolutely delicious now. But it's like I'm never going to say like a vanilla cone from McDonald's isn't just awesome, or Prince's chicken doesn't get close to orgasmic. You know what I mean? It does. It absolutely does.
I fuck up a bird.
It's fantastic. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
I love a burger.
It's hard to get something that hits that level. Because I think I think a lot of times when something, whether it's food or something else, when it's really bad for you, it's really good, even though it's going to kill you.
You know, one of our statutes of our goal of being good is sort of that 90-10 rule. Like we eat right 90% of the time and 10% we don't.
I think that's all right.
Yeah. And so your body can handle that, and your body's okay with that, because you're not constantly beating it down with these bad foods. But I agree that, bad food tastes good, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it's nothing that, we had burgers the other day. We stopped over here at this 50s diner place the kids like to go to, and we had a burger, and it was fantastic. And I didn't ask it for it without a bun,
right?
So it definitely had gluten in it and everything, but my body was okay with that.
I'm glad
I could
didn't
consume
ask for it without a bun. I think that's almost shameful.
I would want them to tell me to get out.
Yes, don't. You're not allowed to have it. I'm sorry.
Yes,
eat elsewhere.
Yeah, make it yourself. So no. I feel like you can still have those things, but it's like, if you constantly eat those things, they can wear your body down, your immune system just can't, immune system, I speak for myself, my immune system can't handle those foods all the time. Right. So, and my wife's the same. We both found that, kind of adhering to that, we had, like Game of Thrones was yesterday, and we sure did have beer. Now, we haven't had beer all week, but we had it on Sunday.
Winter is coming.
For that. Yeah, winter's almost here, bro. For real. It's getting so good.
So you got to have a beer because it's,
Yeah, it's Game of Thrones, I'm sorry, I needed a nice ale. But anyway, it was fantastic. But, that's all I'll say is that you just, it's all in moderation. And that's with anything in life, but that's kind of, like I said, that's kind of part of our goal. And to answer Nick's original question to this was, kind of how you involved your kids into it. Our kids, they didn't understand what juice was until they went to their first birthday party, I think, like our kids drink water, and they pretty much prefer water anywhere they go. And now we're working on, and so we've always kind of had a good core diet. Like there's always a vegetable on their tray, no matter how hard it is to make her eat it. There's always a vegetable. There's always, good for you food. We always give them, good snacks, carrots and hummus, things like that. So we've made a conscious decision early to, make that a goal to raise our kids to eat healthy. Like I don't know any kid his age that specifically asks for a tomato on when he gets a hamburger, he wants a tomato on there. Like, I don't know any kid that wants a tomato or lettuce.
A lot of kids
like
can't even tolerate the texture of a tomato.
I know. And like he won't eat a hamburger without it.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And no cheese. Right. So we've now our current goal is to, in the health and the food is to take away, like I said, take away the dairy milk and replace that with, the silk milks.
Yep. We do. I don't think we use Silk. I don't think Silk's the brand we go with on the almond milk.
Doing an almond breeze.
Yeah. We go almond breeze, I believe.
Well, I hate to promote. Well, I don't hate to. You were talking about Kroger earlier. The most palatable almond milk I have found is the unsweetened Simple Truth, the organic coconut milk from Kroger. It's fantastic. It's literally the best I've had. Best for cereal. I don't drink the stuff by the glass. I just gave that shit up. I was kind of abused with dairy. You know what? And Chris, I owe you an apology. You said something about being from the Midwest and almond milk and that shit like 10 years ago, and I think we got nose to nose on that one. But like, I was raised with a glass of milk with every meal. Like with every meal, spaghetti, milk. Even then, pizza.
It does the body good.
Didn't matter. Steak, milk.
Got
Milk. Asthma, allergies,
I mean, your pediatricians,
right.
the pediatricians tell you to.
Yeah, if your bones are up, he's not going to grow big and strong. Oh, well, look, it was a wonderful commercial campaign. Milk does a body good. So, that was a thing, going back home, everybody still, with every meal, they're just drinking milk.
And what a sham it is to grow up and find out it's the exact opposite.
You're like, wait a minute.
It gives you osteoporosis.
Right. It's exactly.
You remember the hankering for a hunk of cheese guy?
Excited for a big slab of chunk of
cheese.
Hankering for a hunk of cheese.
That's right.
Yeah. There's like $60 of dairy money behind that commercial, behind that
public service announcement.
And $1 billion of pharmaceuticals to fix your ailments afterwards. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or maybe 10 billion. Yeah, it is. It is crazy how that's suggested. So yeah, Christopher, I have to apologize for that one. But no, and there's health for another reason, and it's part that I'm on, and I won't get into this too heavily because we'll have a whole month of a sex topic here coming up in the future sometime. But so I was watching a program earlier, and these two famous guys that I don't want to call anybody out, but one of them, they're two hot guys. They do other things, but they're two hot guys.
Okay,
and the ladies love them. Like if you look these guys up on the computer, the second selection that comes up through Google is these guys shirtless. You know what I mean? Like that's what ladies are looking up. So, but I had noticed that one of them was in this interview. I was like, he had put on 15 pounds, maybe 20 tops. And he's old. He's 30s, late 30s probably. He's not young. So it's not a abnormal thing at all to put on that weight. But I saw him, and I've always said, hey, this is a hot guy. I get it. So when my wife wants to watch him, I totally understand. But I was like, you've gone from hot to handsome.
Right.
15 pounds, hot to handsome. Handsome's good. Handsome's great. Handsome's reliable. But it's a big difference, and there's so much that we don't calculate about. We want to be in shape for longevity and for health, but a great part of longevity and health is sexual gratification, and a lot of sexual gratification comes from our partners wanting us and from feeling like somebody our partner should want. And that's the thing for guys. A lot of guys, there's a lot of bravado in that machismo. Like, yeah, she just wants it. You know what I mean? But you don't really believe it. I mean, maybe some of you do, but come on. She doesn't. If just as much as you start lacking for her when she chubs up,
right?
It's the same. It's the same thing. And if that doesn't exist, or if that starts going downhill, that's tough. That can cause a lot of problems. So, as somebody who slipped off on that on my own, I don't want to not look like that guy that I was. I'm always going to be different. I'm always going to be aging. But, a lot of my health, a lot of my working out, a lot of my training, maybe I haven't hit that level. I don't want to misuse that word because it wouldn't be fair to what my regimen is. But a lot of that is because I do want to look good. It's the great Kevin Spacey line from American Beauty. I just want to look good naked, because that's huge.
It is.
It's huge.
It is a big
to
thing.
feel like I look good naked, and not the guy that's just like, I look like a man. That's what a man has, big shed over his tool. You know what I mean? I paid for this. Shut the fuck up, fatty. You know what I mean?
It's a 6-pack. I got a keg.
Right, I got a keg. You know, whatever. You gotta.
No, that's big.
Bring us home on shared goals here, Nick, before I go speed around on some tips and tricks.
Yes, I was going to say that's big for me and my wife too, and I think it's, you know, for us, as far as, you know, like we had the 10 up, 10 down type of rule in our relationship. And it wasn't just about, you know, weight. It's not just about how we look, but it was about the fact that it was important to both of us. And I think that's the part of the shared goal, right? It has to be important to both of you. And then you have to pursue that goal together. So for us, health, fitness, the way that we feel in our clothes, the way that we feel out of our clothes, the way that we look at each other, you know, it's very important to us. So because it's important to us, we might as well do this thing together, because we know that we'll be more successful that way. So that's why for us, and you know, it's a big shared goal, and we have that benefit, that side benefit of it trickling down to the kids. So we're on that, you know, getting away from the dairy stuff, you know, refined sugars, processed foods, you know, all that stuff, shopping together, whether it's, you know, physically together in a store or we're shopping online the way Brian does. You know, we're all in it together because we have that common goal. And on this side, it's working great because we got this mission and we're working towards it.
I love it. I'm going to take the next few minutes before we wrap this bad boy up and go speed round on some tips and tricks across the spectrum of health. And so I will start with this concept of anxiety. So anxiety is a health killer, the way that if you don't get enough sleep, all your workout and diet may be for naught, because your waistline will actually hold on to the fat if you don't sleep. So anxiety has the same effect, anxiety and stress, I should say. I think for guys like us, in our age group, our age bracket, anxiety comes from two things. One, it's a form of sort of not wanting to lose a good thing, combined with not being certain about the future. And when you're in your late 30s, early 40s, you start to think, oh my God, I've got a good thing. I don't want to lose it. And taking care of your health is a great way to alleviate anxiety, because you no longer worry about the future from a health standpoint. You feel healthy. You feel like you're going to live for a really long time, and you're going to be active with your kids. You're not going to be decrepit in your 50s and 60s when your kids are, at their peak. So how do you get to that place? How do you get that place of good health? Planning and discipline. Throughout the entire conversation, one thing that came to my mind over and over again was Jocko Willnick's a quote, and you can find Jocko Willnick on Twitter. I think he's just at Jocko. I'll have to find that and be sure, but this guy's a beast, but he has this quote that goes something like this. I think it's exactly like this, which is discipline equals freedom. So if you can plan your meals, have the discipline not to eat that cupcake and that pizza at that kid's party, you will be free to do everything else in your life. Second, meditation. So again, sticking with the mental, you can use an app to help you learn to meditate. You can spend thousands of dollars to get a guru, if you will, and sit down and meditate with your spouse. But you don't have to do that. We will attach, I have a meditation form. I will attach it. We'll put it on the blog, and we'll attach it to the show notes, and it'll help you get started. You can print it off. You can do it at home. Start with 10 minutes. And then the goal is just to build up time, right? So don't get impatient. Don't worry if your mind is wandering. That's the point. Your mind should wander. And every time your mind wanders, you're going to want to kick back into your mantra and into that word that you're repeating over and over again in the front of your mind. That means that the meditation is actually working, because it's reminding you to come back to your word.
So you start meditating for 10 minutes?
Start for 10 minutes. Go as low as 10 minutes. Pick a time with your
That
wife.
seems really high.
You could start with 10. You could start with 5. The whole key is to get started.
How much am I supposed to sit still with for? I mean, like, what's my goal here?
I think the goal is to go as long as
like
possible.
a half an hour?
Yeah, as long as you can do it. There are some people that meditate for hours, and this is going to be...
Well, they need to get fucking busy. There's shit to do.
It's going to be schedule dependent, but some of the most successful people in the world, they attribute their success to meditation. And I started this about a year and a half ago on Friday afternoons at 11:30. That was my time. And it's very effective. You have some of the most original ideas, the best clarity you're going to have. You can just drop all your weight. And I got up to about 45 minutes. But the main thing is help people, and especially your significant other or spouse, simply because you love them, help them unravel and diffuse their excuses. And so the last one I'm going to give is around, and this is the most important one, social accountability. So with your wife or significant other, use your Fitbit, use your Apple Watch, whatever you want to use, and create a best percent to goal as a challenge. Loser does household chores. This is huge for your wife. If you do this with your wife, you will have more sex with your wife. It's tried, it's true, it's practiced. It's a wrap. So here's how it works. Apple Watch specifically, which is what I wear, has 3 rings: a stand goal, an active calories goal, and an exercise goal. And you can pick any goal you want, but active calories is the easiest because the Apple Watch already tracks it for you. So one thing my wife and I do is we say percent to goal winner, doesn't have to do dishes. Or the loser, actually more effectively, is to have the negative goal. The loser has to do the dishes. The loser has to fold clothes. The loser has to put the youngest to bed that night. So it can't be like these big things where you resent the other person if you lose. There are these little itty bitty things that take up your time during the day that drive you crazy. And I promise you, if you set the punishment correctly, you will bust your ass every day to make sure you are crushing your goals. You will check your watch or your app on your phone to make sure you are beating your spouse. And so I hope that ties everything that we've been saying together into one nice little bow, which is create that shared goal, create that social accountability, and find methods that using some of the methods we talked about today to bring everything together with your diet, with your exercise regimen, and then set a social accountability goal around it. And you guys will be successful before you know it in health. So with that, gentlemen, I think we've had a wonderful conversation about health. We hope we've helped ourselves first and then help the people, of course, as well. Boys, I will talk to each of you tomorrow. And of course, again, next week, where we talk about money. Talk about the shared goal of money. So join us there. It's a big topic, a lot to touch on. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. And I'll talk to all you guys then. All right?
All right, dude. Be good.
All right. Peace.
Good
night. You've been listening to Married, Not Dead. To find show notes, read awesome blog posts, and find links to all of the products or services suggested during the show, please visit our blog at marriednotdead.org. If you haven't already, you can join our podcast tribe on the Apple Podcast app, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or the podcast app of your choice. After you subscribe, please don't forget to rate and review. If you do, hey, we'll owe you one. We are now all over the internet. You can find and follow the MND crew on Twitter and Instagram at _MarriedNotDead and Facebook by searching for the Married Not Dead podcast page, amongst many other places you can find us. So until next time, on behalf of Nicholas Buggs, Brian Comer, and Jason McConnell, I'm Chris Barkley. See you next week. Hello, MNDers. Chris here to let you in on how to get a free audiobook and a 30-day free trial from Audible. Because you're a listener of this podcast, all you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/MND podcast. Once you're there, you can choose from over 180,000 titles, including the latest additions to my library. So I have Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson, Vagabonding by Rolf Potts, and Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. So, to download your free audiobook, go to audibletrial.com/MND podcast. If you do, you'll be glad you did.